tell you what, last week, Gran Turismo 7 absolutely cooked with Le Mans 14 laps in the brand new hypercars at Le Mans. But they've given us Deep Forest Raceway again in Group 3 cars. Again, as someone's already ended his own race because it's just Deep Forest Raceway. We're going to see over these 16 laps what really makes Deep Forest Raceway so special at this point in Gran Turismo's life cycle. Because at this point, we've done it a bajillion times. Either I'm missing something here, or Polyphony Digital know exactly what they're doing, and I'm talking absolute nonsense. We've been racing here all week this week, among many other weeks. But there's one thing I've noticed from the racing. The racing is very tight, very close, not the most clean racing, and I'm very guilty of that myself, and you'll see later on in this race. But everyone sits close together, everybody's on a very level playing field, and from last place to first place, if everyone keeps their nose clean, it's less than 10 seconds. So in terms of competitive racing, it's really up there with some of the best racing available. That being said, it's hard to overtake if you're not in the Viper, as it's been predominantly the fastest car on the track this week, and unfortunately, I don't know how to drive that son of a car. So we've gone with my old faithful Alfa Romeo 4C, the car I chose for the this time in 2024 Manufacturers Cup, with my own personalised livery back when I had my own Alfa Romeo in real life. Not the 4C, I wouldn't have sold it otherwise. But as we can start the second lap here, bumped Spitfire ever so slightly, just misjudging my braking point. I'm in virtual reality when I race these races, so I don't get perfect vision. As up the hill go 3 wide, that Z4 got a rocket ship of straight line speed, which caught me off guard on that specific race. However, Spitfire managed to keep the place, and the position have stayed the same, as the 3 cars ahead of me are all jockeying for position to P9. Now, P9 has now fallen off the cliff compared to the top 8 drivers here, which means that the 396 is slowing us down significantly. However, that's not the biggest problem here. The biggest problem here is how close we are together and trying to make a move on each other and trying to get the overspeed and the slipstream on the car ahead. The Ferrari's got just enough straight line speed to keep ahead of an Audi R8 and a Porsche. The Z4 is boosting the Porsche, and I'm in the 4C behind, quicker than both of them, but nowhere to really overtake. As they defend the inside line, I take the outside line, short shift a second, de-throttle as I come across the curb there, otherwise I would have gotten a half-second penalty. I got a half-second penalty because I was still accelerating off the track, so there's a half-second penalty I've got to serve down. So that's great. But we're coming down to the end of lap 2, rapidly closing that gap between Singlish and Audi R8 right behind me. I brake, I'm going to hit the Z4, I turn to cover it off. I hit the Audi R8 hits me because I've tried to go up the inside and not hit them. If you see my reel on TikTok earlier in the week, it's not the first time I've done it, but I always try and avoid the incident. Sadly, it takes myself and the Z4 out of the race, and we're all the way down in P13 now. P13, we started P12, we're now 10 seconds off the race lead, and now the race is just, let's get some practice in, let's see what we can do, and let's just get on with it at this point. We're still a bit rusty at this point in the week, trying to blow the dust off our own Alfa Romeo's wheels. I think it's only our second race in it, maybe our third. So we're still dialing in the car in at this point. No traffic ahead of me. I thought now's the perfect time to get some racing laps in. Obviously qualifying isn't the most spectacular representation of what you can and can't do in the race. So we're going to spend these laps just getting the hang of it and just salvage any positions that the cars ahead might make mistakes on. I mean, I'm not really expecting to finish in the top 5 or anything, but we're going to see what plays out here, and hopefully enough cars battle ahead to bring us back into contention towards the end of the race. As we ride on board with Singlish, the worst affected by that incident, me trying to dodge him caused me to get bumped into him, and he just got absolutely ruined by that, unfortunately. As we watch my point of view one more time, trying to avoid contact, didn't really check my rear view mirror here. It looks a lot worse from this angle. Yeah, not my brightest moment, as you can see the back end view here. Just absolute calamity here. A Spitfire does a through goes Hamilton. As we continue on with the race now, let's see what more we have to offer as we fast forward on a few laps later. Look, we're on lap 9 now, rolling ahead. People have made their first pit stop. We're up to P7, thanks to other cars pitting, as the Ford GT that was just ahead of us there had a few spin outs and we'd caught him up. Pitting on lap 9 is going to give us a much better opportunity on the final few laps for our tyres if we can make the most of the time that we've gained. Seeing our lap times there, a lot in the mid 127s, which for a race not really that great. Okay in clear air. Actually, it's really good, a 27 lap time when you're not getting interfered. And the reason behind that is because you're constantly braking early for corners when you're in the traffic, which is why everyone's been so huddled up together. Now, if you look at the top of the screen there, we're back at the P13. So those 8 laps now on our own haven't really gained us any positions yet. We're going to get ahead of that Ford GT we were behind. However, we're still sitting about, what, 3 or 4 seconds on the cars ahead, with Scumbag directly ahead having a little gap, but being in the Viper, I have a hunch he's going to catch up quite quickly. Sadly, Singlish hasn't really recovered. Yeah, I think he's been making more mistakes and not really had the opportunity to close up the gap any further, unfortunately. With the cars ahead now in my sights, it's looking like a possibility of some places to be gained here. I mean, we're in P13 now. We probably expect to be P11, P10 after everybody does their pit stops. As we come out to the hairpin for lap 10, Spitfire slowing down a fair bit there. Must have had a penalty to serve, as we are now right behind him. We might have another overtake as we go into lap 11 now. Right in his draft, the Porsche, great handling. Not the fastest in the straight line, not the worst, but it's probably the slowest or the second slowest of the meta cars this race week. As we got the inside, easy overtake done. It's done before the corner. Remember your braking point, it was that Ford GT I mentioned on the previous lap. We're now ahead of it. That's another position gained. That's P10, and we're on the charge for the rest of the pack. Let's see what we can do with 5 laps to go. Fast forwarding on to lap 13 to 16. 4 racing laps to go at this point. The 3 Audi R8s battling for P2. Both 3 wide into turn 1. A lot of chaos, a lot of carnage. Renato moves up to P2. Now he's the driver that went into the back of me at the start of lap 3 at the beginning of the race. Him having a stellar race right there. Then battling has brought P2 all the way down to me in lonely P10. I say lonely, I'm right on the backside of Sin Racing here. There's 9 cars in the battle for P2 at this exact moment. This is how great the racing can be at Deep Forest Raceway, even if it is a bit claustrophobic. As we come down the hill, down to the bridge, onto the back straight, we send it up on Sin Racing. Zin having a slight wobble on the exit as we go through the tunnel for the first part of the straight. We're up into P9, 1 position gain this lap. As we look up for Zin as an opportunity to go gain more places as several cars serve penalties, hugging the inside line as we go into the most critical corner on the track. As the Viper that served the penalties goes deep, SKVM and Zin have compromised exits. We're up 2 places through that 1 corner alone at this point, with 3 cars just ahead battling and bumping. We tuck in behind the Viper. It's faster in a straight line. We're going to get the most advantage of it here. We're up into P6. That is 3 places gained now. 3 places. 4 places in 1 lap. We're on lap 14 to 16 now. We're going to go up the inside. Hold the inside line. Defensive as well. Hit the back of Ferrari. Car behind me bumped me. No damage caused, luckily. No penalties received. Going almost 3 wide up the hill into the forest section. The Viper pulls out beautifully for me, luckily allowing me to slip away here. We're now into P5. 4 corners ago, we were P10. Looking for a move on the Ferrari there. Always have a sniff there. I pull out of it every time if I need to, but if they give me the space, all of a sudden the move is on as we come down the hill again. Lap 14, over the bridge, into the 90-degree bend. Absolutely nailed the apex, I think. I don't think I did. I was still in second gear coming out. As they go too wide, neither one of those cars right now is benefiting from slipstream. The Audi R8's got a half-second penalty to serve. We're trying to line up a position here. We're going 3 wide into the hairpin. It doesn't go well here. We saw it last lap. It allowed me to gain so many places, but we're far enough ahead that we're not compromised by the cars behind. Outside becomes inside, inside becomes outside. As the cars around each other start hitting each other, the Audi R8 with a half-second penalty and that connection with me. Audi R8 having the slowest straight line speed of the 3 cars in this specific battle. As we come down the straight now, lap 15 of 16, gonna send it up the inside. Through goes Redeemer. We're up into P3 on lap 15 of 16. We started second lap. We started P12, I think, at the start of the race, or P14. That, on this race, if you've done this race, you will know how hard it is to make positions and keep them in anything but the Viper. The Viper is terrible in the infield, but it is unstoppable on the straights. The 4C is a nice hybrid space between the two. And I'm showing that off beautifully right there. Getting a nice little 2-3 tenths on the Ferrari before we get on the straight. And he just reels me back in. That is the problem here. Even if you start pulling away, you've got 2 giant straights that you just can't pull away from. But there is no Viper nearby until you get down to 7th place in Ration, I think it is. The Ferrari's not quick enough to overtake me. The Audi R8 is by far too slow to overtake me. We just have to be intentional with every move we do from here. We have 1 lap to go. P2, once he cleared those cars at the start of lap 13, he was long gone. He said, bye, I've checked out. I'm going to see if I can chase down P1 before the end, but P1's already going from turn 1 at this point, so I don't think that's going to happen. Battling for positions behind is making me have even more breathing room, at the very least for P4, if I do lose it. Holding the inside line, the Ferrari behind, giving me a love bump behind. He owed me that, to be fair. Coming in to the forest section for the final time this race. Hitting my apexes, hitting my braking points, not giving him an inch to overtake me. And I need to be careful here because the Viper has moved up to P5. I think it is too far back at this point, but any battling between the Ferrari, it's got to bring it back in. Now, coming through over the bridge for the final time, onto the straight, hitting that apex, getting into 3rd as we get on the power. Up through the gears, the Ferrari right behind us. I know full well my little radar at the bottom right in VR is going to have his little triangle right up behind me, making me nervous. But at this point, I think he's just too far away. Too many car lengths for him to really go for a fair move on me here. And he's respectful. I start turning in. It's the final corner. Nothing special. We're going to out-drag him to the start-finish line. Audi R8, I think, back there having a moment coming out the hairpin. He's not going to be happy about that one. As we come across the line to the start-finish line, what looked like a recovery race ended up being a podium position. The best race I've had here. The best result I've had all week starting from the back. And if you like what you saw, think about giving me a follow. If you've made it this far, you should. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye now.